certified problem-solving and decision-making consultant and trainer. John has taught hundreds of professionals in Germany, England, and the United States since 1993. Using systematic processes, John has saved millions of dollars for companies by eliminating problems, making cost-effective decisions, and preventing problems. John will give us a perspective on learning from mistakes tonight in his speech titled Mom and the Fastball. Please welcome Toastmaster Schneyer.
Have you ever done something and right after doing it, wished you could undo it? Well, I have. Have you ever done something and known right away you shouldn't have done that? Have you ever learned from your own mistakes? Toastmaster Isaacson, fellow Toastmasters, and our most welcome guests. I've heard often that we learn from our mistakes. Well, if that's true, I have had a lot of learning opportunities. Have you ever learned from someone else's mistakes? Let me give you an example. A few years ago, when I was just 11, I was living up on Long Island, and I played Little League Baseball. I liked to pitch. Pitching requires a lot of practice. One thing that's unique to Long Island as compared to South Florida, in the off season, you don't play baseball. It's too cold. And it's hard to find somebody to practice pitching with because they're playing winter sports and they're inside. So I had to improvise. One of my favorite things to do was to go outside after a nice snowfall and practice pitching with snowballs. And here's how it would go. To bend over and scoop up some snow, pack it into a nice snowball, wind up, pitch, bam, right into our front door. For those of you who grew up in South Florida and never heard the sound of a snowball, they do go bam when they hit a door. I do it again. Snowball, pack it up, wind up, bam, right into the front door. Now, after a few of these, I'm feeling pretty loose. I'm getting warmed up. And they're moving pretty quick. Our front door is just the right distance from the sidewalk. So a couple more. Bam, into the door. It's feeling real good. One more. Bam, into the door. And then, oh no. Horrors. Because just as that snowball leaves my hand, just when it reaches the point where the law of physics will not allow me to draw it back or alter its trajectory in any way, the front door opens and my mother sneaks right into the path of the snowball I just threw. Stop throwing snowballs against the front door. My heart is in my throat, and you have no idea how many thoughts can go through an 11-year-old brain like that. I thought my life was over. I was going to hit my mother right in the face with a snowball. She was going to kill me. I'd have to run away and join the circus. Or I'd hear that dreaded, oh, wait till your father gets home. Fortunately for me, a miracle intervened. The snowball missed my mother. It went through the front door, cleared the atrium, sailed completely through our living room, into our formal dining room, and explodes on the dining room table, sending snow and ice across the walls of 3/4 of the dining room. Oh, I know one thing. The door slammed shut, and I never heard another word about it. To this day, I can't understand how my mother missed it. After a few minutes, When my heart retreated into its chest cavity and I could breathe again, I thought about it. I'd made a mistake. Now, what did I learn from that mistake? Well, specifically, I learned don't be throwing snowballs against the front door. Generally, what I learned was consider the consequences of your actions and what might go wrong. Then I said, well, let's turn this around 180 degrees. What about from Mom's perspective? I think you'd have to agree with me, my mother made a mistake. Were it me, and I heard bam, bam, bam on the front door, I know one thing I wouldn't do would be to open it. I might look out the window to see what was going on. I might have sent my little brother around to tell me to stop doing it. But I wouldn't have opened that front door. Now, I considered bringing this up to my mother. But remember, I'd already learned something from my mistake. Consider the consequences of your actions on what might go wrong. And when I thought about what I might say to my mother to explain that she made a mistake in opening the front door, I quickly realized that was a learning opportunity that was better kept to myself. What I did then, in my professional life, I learned when working with people that mistakes are opportunities. And what I want you to consider in both your personal and business lives is that mistakes are opportunities for learning. If you make them part of your process, for instance, after running a project and you have a debrief, a post-mortem, as some companies call them, institutionalize this and make it part of your process. What things went well? What things could we have done better? What did we learn from what didn't go so well? If you make this part of your normal behavior, you will take the resistance away from people. They won't be afraid to be open to you, and you'll get much better results. So please, tomorrow, think about me, think about my mother, what could have happened, and use that as an opportunity to work more effectively with the people in your lives. Toastmaster?